The Deepcore GK2 is the starting primary weapon for the Scout in Deep Rock Galactic. It's one of the most basic weapons in the game, but that simplicity just makes it harder to know what builds you should run, especially when you don't have any overclocks for it to change how it works or make it even better. In this video, I've got two really strong builds for the Deepcore GK2 that you really need to know if you want to be a good Scout player on your team. Hi guys, I'm Legionless, and this channel is about helping you enjoy your games more. If you want to enjoy your games more, subscribe to the channel and like this video to help me out. For the two builds I need to tell you about, there's something you need to know. The Deepcore GK2 and I have a complicated relationship. One moment, I absolutely love it, and I feel that I can solo large swarms of enemies with just myself and the gun. The next moment, I find it boring to use, and not good enough to crowd control with or do good single target damage. What causes this love-hate relationship, I think, is because how worse the GK2 becomes when you hit body shots instead of weak point damage. The GK2 suffers from two problems: low damage and poor accuracy. The damage is so unremarkable that I want to compare the GK2 and the Scout's alternate primary weapon, the M1000 Classic, to see which of the two is better. The accuracy on the Deepcore is tough to control unless you're tap firing the weapon, but then your damage per second and the amount of enemies you're killing goes down because you're firing slower. So we've got two pretty big problems with the weapon we need to solve: a damage problem and an accuracy problem. Unfortunately, each row for the weapon's modifications want you to pick between damage increases or things that affect your accuracy in some way. So with the two builds you need to know, you're going to have to ultimately choose which means more to you, accuracy or damage. The first build we're going to go over is the Slayer build. I love this build, and it's probably what I use the most on the Deepcore. When my aim is good and I'm feeling at the top of my game, everything that moves in my direction just dies. I put a couple bullets into each enemy's weak point, one by one, with some Navy SEAL efficiency. If anything gets too close, I fly away on my grappling hook and continue the slaughter. If you're confident in your aim even a little bit, or you want to build with a high skill ceiling so you can continuously make yourself better and get rewarded as you improve, you're going to love this build as much as I love it. In tier 1, we go with supercharged feed mechanism to increase the rate of fire. This increased rate of fire is going to make this weapon harder to control, but we want that challenge. We want that increase in rate of fire so our damage per second is better. We want that increased damage per second so we can kill enemies faster when we land our shots. You may need to tap fire your shots when you first use supercharged feed mechanism so you can ease yourself into the rate of fire change, but it should feel more natural after a little bit of practice. In tier 2, we want to go with increased caliber rounds because it gives an increase in damage for every bullet. The GK2 starts off with a base damage of 15 per bullet. This modification adds 2 damage to each shot. Now, not only do we have an increased rate of fire to boost our damage per second, but we have a raw increase to damage as well. In tier 3, we're going to go with another damage increase, right? Actually, there's a better option for the Deepcore's time to kill and damage per second. We want to go with high capacity magazine. The base magazine size is 25, and with this mod, it goes to 35. The average time to kill enemies is better with this mod than another raw damage increase because every magazine will kill more enemies on average with the additional bullets. In tier 4, we've got another curveball here. At first glance, hollow point bullet sounds like the obvious choice to make. The mod increases the damage each bullet does to weak points, which sounds really good in theory. The problem with that is the increase in damage for weak point shots just isn't enough of an increase to the average time to kill and damage per second. Running improved gas system is another rate of fire increase like the one we picked in tier 1. Of course, like before in tier 1, when we increase the rate of fire, it's going to be harder to be very accurate at first, so you're going to want to tap fire the weapon at first and progressively shoot the weapon faster and faster while you get more used to this increased fire rate. When you think about it, that makes sense. That's how it should be. When it's harder to be pinpoint accurate, when it's harder to hit every shot you fire, you should be rewarded with better benefits than if you just add a flat bonus to damage. Finally, in tier 5, you can choose which one you like the most. All three have something about them that you'll like and that will help you out. Battle Frenzy increases your movement speed by 50% after you kill an enemy. Battle Cool increases your weapon accuracy after killing an enemy. And Stun increases the chance of stunning an enemy. If you really can't decide which one to run, Battle Cool will help you slay better. Like I said before, this is one of my most used builds when I run the Deepcore GK2. It's a favorite of mine because there's so much room to get better and better with the weapon, and as I get better, it directly translates to being more successful with the class. I really recommend this if any of what I love about this build makes sense to you and you want the challenge. The last build is a very beginner friendly build and is about being as easy to use as possible by making the accuracy and handling of the weapon feel really nice. This is something I really like to use when I'm playing more relaxed and don't want to have to work for every precise shot. If you're new to Deep Rock Galactic or the Scout class, write this build down because this one's for you. In tier 1, Gyro's stabilization makes a really big improvement to the weapon's base accuracy. This is going to make the spread of your bullets tighter, which means everything you shoot is going to go where you want it to go. You're not going to have to fight the weapon to hit your targets. When you're new to the game or the Scout class, there's other things you'll be focusing on, and whether you're hitting your shots or not shouldn't be one of them. In tier 2, expanded ammo bags is great. The modification adds an additional 100 bullets to the weapon. Now, even if you're missing a bunch of shots, you have the extra ammo so you can have some peace of mind. In tier 3, another huge quality of life improvement to the GK2 is floating barrel. This mod is going to be one of the most important ones in this build because being unable to control the weapon's recoil, especially when you're firing it at its fastest fire rate, is one of the biggest reasons for missing shots. The GK2 isn't going to kick around a bunch and mess up your aim while you're firing, and you'll be able to hit those faraway enemies a lot easier. In tier 4, you're free to pick what you like most out of the three options. I'd probably steer away from improved gas system because that increase in rate of fire won't help your aim. If you don't want to decide, go with hardened rounds because it'll make the weak points on enemies larger as you're shooting their armor off. The larger weak points will make it that much easier for you to shoot and do some increased damage. Lastly, in tier 5, we're going to run Battle Cool. This is a very nice mod that's going to improve the accuracy of the GK2 when we get a kill. I really love these builds when I run the Deepcore GK2 on my Scout. Let me know in the comments below which build you're running on the GK2 or if you're running something else entirely. Subscribe to the channel if you want to enjoy your games more, and share this video with others to help them enjoy their games more. Thanks for watching.